Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are diving into a deeply fascinating, honestly kind of futuristic X Prize project called Reciclon AI. This isn't just your standard run-of-the-mill environmental pitch, no way. This is a project that completely redefines the entire business of going green. We're going to look right under the hood at the very architecture of their proposal, exploring exactly how they're combining cutting-edge artificial intelligence with hard-nosed economics to tackle our global mountain of electronic waste. So get ready, because the way these guys structure profit and purpose, it's going to totally change how you think about sustainability. Okay, let's dive into this. Can a green initiative actually survive without donations? For decades, we've all kind of operated under this assumption. Really, it's a myth that environmental projects have to survive purely on charity, or maybe government subsidies, or unpredictable philanthropy. And let's be real, that is an incredibly precarious way to run a mission-critical operation, right? Well, Reciclon AI's submission to the X Prize completely dismantles this myth. They're proving out there that you absolutely don't have to choose between doing good and making money. In fact, they argue that one is literally the prerequisite for the other. So here is exactly how we'll break down Reciclon AI's dual engine today. First up, we'll look at their philosophy, specifically social entrepreneurship. Then we'll hit AI and revenue generation. And third, impact and social return. All right, section 1, philosophy. Let's talk about social entrepreneurship. So Reciclon AI operates as what we call a social enterprise. They aren't running under that traditional logic of just maximizing corporate profits at all costs. Instead, their ultimate goals here are community resilience and environmental justice. But, and here is the absolute genius part of this, they view profitability as an indispensable tool. They literally need to be profitable to guarantee their own operational autonomy and to pay fair wages. By operating as a true self-sustaining business, they completely eliminate that dangerous dependency on variable philanthropy or subsidies we talked about earlier. And this brilliantly illustrates that exact tension. On one side, you've got your traditional corporate goals, right? Profit maximization strictly for shareholders. On the other side, you have Reciclon AI's mission, community, resilience, and justice. The traditional model basically hoards the profit, but the Reciclon AI model uses that profit as the core fuel for their mission. It's like a dual engine. They aren't rejecting capitalism, they are essentially redirecting its power to serve the community. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 2, AI and revenue generation, which is their core financial engine. So how exactly does a green project generate its own massive cash flow? Let's ground some of those dry tech terms into a real flow of value. Here's how it works. Step 1. They use Gemini AI to precisely sort out electronic waste. Why? Because having an AI scan it guarantees absolute purity right at the source. Then, step 2. Because those batches of e-waste, which are totally packed with precious metals and technical plastics, are so remarkably pure, they become incredibly valuable. They sell these critical materials directly to authorized foundries and recycling industries. Boom. That is their primary operational cash flow. And then there's step 3, which is an entirely different, totally fascinating revenue stream. Step 3 is an industrial SaaS, that's software as a service. Reciclon AI offers this premium version of their impact and traceability dashboard. Now, think about medium and large companies today. They are under massive, and I mean massive, regulatory pressure to certify the proper disposal of their old technological assets. If they fail to do that, they face severe regulatory fines and their ESG scores absolutely plummet, which, as we know, can scare away major investors. Reciclon AI steps in and provides the exact software platform to solve this massive headache. So they aren't just selling recovered metals, they're actually selling premium certified data to major corporations who desperately need to prove their sustainability metrics. It's brilliant. Okay, on to Section 3, impact and social return. Let's see where all this capital actually goes. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the allocation. Exactly 15% of the devices that the AI classifies are flagged as recoverable, meaning these aren't just shredded for scrap metal. Instead, they go straight into a school equipment fund. Local university students actually refurbish these devices, and then they're donated directly to public schools and community centers. So that high-tech revenue engine we just talked about, it pays for this entire process, directly closing the digital divide in vulnerable sectors. Success depends on the stability and peace of mind of those who build it. It's a pretty powerful juxtaposition, isn't it? I mean, we just spent the last few minutes talking about sleek, futuristic AI technology, Gemini algorithms, and industrial SaaS platforms. But the core of the project's documentation acknowledges a very grounding truth. None of that high-end tech matters at all without the fundamental human well-being of the project's own workforce.
The tangible benefits for the human team are a massive core part of this model. The social return here isn't just about donating computers. It's about how the company treats its own people, day in and day out. The model explicitly prioritizes the creation of well-paid, local technical jobs. It ensures that the founding and operational teams have real financial backing to actually consolidate their family wealth. And you might wonder, why is this in an XPRIZE pitch? Well, because if the team has financial peace of mind, they aren't sitting there worried about how to pay their rent next month. Instead, they can focus entirely on the long-term environmental mission.
So the crucial point is balance. For the XPRIZE judges evaluating this submission, Reciclon AI is demonstrating that they are a real business with its feet firmly on the ground. It is perfectly structured, it generates real economic value through AI and SaaS, but it has a heart that is completely, unapologetically dedicated to the community and to the well-being of its people. It is basically the ultimate synthesis of profit and purpose. We've seen the philosophy, we've explored the digital architecture, and we've unpacked the financial engine. But it leaves us with one final, incredibly exciting thought to ponder. What will the physical deployment actually look like when these futuristic AI sorting totems arrive in the real world, physically taking up space in schools and universities? How are everyday people going to interact with this financially sustainable green machine on day one? That is the next frontier, and I hope this explainer has left you as eager to find out as I am. Thanks so much for learning with me today.